we go. So hopefully I think I've done everything right. It's amazing how much we forget in 2 weeks. So hopefully you're all lying pretty comfortably on your mat. So we always start this morning practice lying down as if we're still in bed in our Savasana. You can have your knees bent with the soles of your feet on the floor if you like. Just finding that comfortable pose that you can for a good few minutes, allowing your back to completely relax into the mat. And taking big breaths in through your nose, long exhales. Taking a big deep breath right down into your stomach. And then just open your mouth, and as you exhale, sigh it out. Taking another big breath in. And exhale, sigh it out. And keep doing this. And if you're in a room by yourself, you won't feel so silly. I can't hear you. If there's someone else in the room, you might feel a little bit silly, but it's all good. And just do this another 2 or 3 more times. Each side, just really letting it all go. Allowing yourself to completely relax. And then just gently bringing both knees into your chest. You can hold them there with your hands if you like, your hands just placed on top of your shins, or if you like, you can just allow gravity to do the work for you. No effort. You're just going to rock your knees over towards the left-hand side, bringing your knees in nice and close, and then just taking your right arm out to the side at shoulder height. If you can. If you don't have the space, you can give a little bend into that elbow if you like, and just have it more of a goalpost arm rather than straight out to the side. So we're giving ourselves a nice little twist here. If it's too much with the knees pulled in mega close, then maybe you just want to allow your lower leg to straighten a little bit, or just taking your knees a little bit further away from you. And you can gaze towards your right hand as well, if it's comfortable for your neck. If it's not, then just allow your gaze to be up towards the ceiling. I'm going to hold this for another big inhale. Another long exhale. And then bringing your knees back towards your chest, rolling onto your back. and then taking them over to the other side, the right hand side. Allow the knees to drop onto the floor. You can squeeze them in tight to your chest if that's comfortable for you. And then taking your left arm out towards the side of the room. Again, if you're a bit lacking on space, you can have a bit of a bend into that elbow. And if it's okay for your neck, you can just gaze towards that hand, that left arm. Taking another breath in. And a big exhale. And then rolling back onto your back, knees into your chest. This time you're just going to allow the left sole of the foot on the mat. So you've got your left foot on the floor, knee bent. You're going to find length through the right leg. So just allow the toes to point up towards the ceiling. You can have quite a relaxed foot here. It doesn't need to point or flex. But you're just finding a little bit of length through that right leg. But again, it can have a bend in it. You just try to imagine the length through the back of that leg rather than trying to force it. And you can just place your hands behind the thigh, or if you're feeling super flexible for a Monday morning in January, you can place it behind your calf, but that might be super intense. I mean, it's already super intense for me just like this. And you can slowly start to bring that leg closer to you if it feels good. If it feels too much, then just allow it to stay where you can feel the stretch without it pinching, without that sort of horrible, too stretchy feeling. Another big breath in here. Lovely, and then you're going to bend that leg, but keep hold of the back of the calf and back of the thigh for now. So you've got the thigh bent in toward your chest, knee bent in. We're going to find happy baby pose. So this time flexing through the foot. So imagine the ceiling is falling down, you're catching the ceiling with that foot. So you want that foot to be parallel with the ceiling. And then you can keep your right hand on the thigh if you like, and just draw the knee towards the elbow with that leg bent. Sorry, towards the armpit. Forgetting all my words. It is the first class back in January. You need to forgive me for that. If you are feeling quite good in this pose, you can take hold of the ankle here, or even thread your hand through and grab hold of the sole of your foot. So half happy baby pose. Lovely, taking a few big breaths here. Gorgeous. And then just releasing that, but you're going to keep the flex in that foot and keep that leg lifted up from the ground. But you're just going to keep the flex in the foot as you take the ankle and place it across the thigh of the left foot. So we're going to find like a supine figure 4 stretch here. So you can start to draw the knee, the right knee, away from you in space. Lovely. If you want to take it a little bit further, if this actually does feel quite good, you can thread your hands through, your right hand through the little gap you've created and take your left hand around and then just draw your left leg in. Oh my goodness, this feels a bit intense actually. You can take behind your thigh, or you can, if you can reach, you can take on top of your shin, but only if your shoulders don't roll up off the ground, trying to keep a nice long spine. Lovely. So I'd say actually the left leg does most of the work here if you've got it lifted up off the floor. So for me, I'm probably squeezing my left leg into me, my left thigh close to my chest, about 80%. My hands are doing about 20% of the work here. And every breath in, trying to find a nice lot of length through your spine. And then as you exhale, squeezing your left leg in a little bit closer as you draw your right knee towards, like away from you. So your right knee is drawing away from you, opening up your hip. Gorgeous. And then release this. Place the left sole of the foot on the floor and then just lift that right leg up off your left foot, off your left leg, and place it down on the mat as well. Soles of the feet on the mat. And then here just allow your knees to windscreen wiper one side and then the other. I can just tell I haven't spoken to many people in like a few weeks. I've lost all my words. Oh. Lovely. We're going to do all that little sequence on the other side, otherwise we'll be walking around a little bit funny. So the sole of the left foot on the mat, keep that left leg bent for this, and then the right leg bent, right leg on the mat, left leg is going up towards the ceiling, so toes up towards the ceiling, taking a grip behind your thigh if you want to, or even behind your calf if you're feeling super flexible. And we're trying to find length through the back of this left leg. It's totally normal for one side to feel easier. I would say, this pose isn't easy, but one side might feel a little bit more accessible than the other. Just keep breathing into the sensations that you're feeling. And then just relaxing through the muscles in your face. So when we feel a lot of sensation or a good old stretch in one part of the body, sometimes another part of the body might react to that, might tense up. So we're just trying to relax the muscles that we're not using, so the muscles in your face. Trying to relax your shoulders down onto the mat. Another big breath in here. And then bending through that left leg. Flexing through the foot, so imagining the ceiling is slowly coming down, you're pushing it away with that foot so it's parallel to the ceiling. And then you're trying to imagine the knee is moving towards the left knee is moving towards the left armpit. We're going to find half happy baby pose. So again, you can take the grip behind the thigh if you like, or take him behind the calf or the ankle, maybe even gripping the sole of the foot. But just encouraging that knee to the outside of your body, towards your armpit, feeling a lot of opening around your hip. Taking another big breath in here. And a big breath out. And then taking the left ankle and just placing it on top of the right thigh. So we're finding that supine figure 4 position. And allow your left knee to draw away from you. So you start to feel a bit more of an opening into the left hip, around the left hip. Lovely, and if this feels good and you want to take it a little bit further, threading the left hand between that gap and the right hand around your right leg, and just draw your right thigh in a little bit closer to you. You can take the grip on top of that shin if you like, or behind the right thigh, relaxing through the muscles in your face. Allowing the whole length of your back to ground down into the mat. Each exhale, imagine that left knee just drawing away from you. Holding for another big breath in here. Big exhale. Actually hold for one more big breath in. And exhale, and just release your feet down onto the mat, and again give yourselves a little windscreen wiper with those knees, allowing to just drop one side and then the other. Lovely, and we're going to come to a seated position, so you can make your way into that, whether you want to rock up and down on your through the length of your spine, or if you want to just rock onto one side and slowly push yourself up into a seated position, and then just untucking your sit bones out from underneath you. We're going to have our legs nice and long here. Lovely. So you can have a little bend in your knees if you struggle to sit with your legs long, nice and straight. I mean, I do, especially this early. I do have remembered to put my heating on today though, so I'm not freezing whilst I'm here, so it's quite nice. Brilliant, we've all made it. We've all made it to seated. Flexing the toes back towards your face. And if you want, if you've got a pillow or a bolster handy, you can just slide that under your knees if that helps you. But we're going to sit up nice and tall, and then lifting the fingers up towards the ceiling. Stretch them right up, and then reaching forwards, finding lots of length through your spine as you do this. So it's almost like you're sticking your bum out behind you as you lengthen your fingers forwards. And then just allow them to drop down onto the mat wherever they fall, whether they fall nearer to your thighs or even past your toes, depending on the flexibility here. And then just allow your body to relax over. So ignoring the length through your spine here, you can just really start to round through your back. And if you can, if you want to, you can start to relax through your neck as well, but it can get a bit nervy in this position. So just really relax, allowing your head to drop down. Lovely. And then slowly walking your hands up. Placing your hands just either by your hips or a little bit behind you. You're going to place the soles of your feet on the floor. We're going to come to reverse tabletop. So it's a bit of an opening up into the chest here. So, shall we do that first, or let's do this other one first, then we might move on to that one. So instead, take your feet wherever it is comfortable. Your hands are just behind you, and as if you're going to go into reverse tabletop, but instead all you're going to do is shift your bum toward your heels, and just feeling this stretch into your chest here, into your shoulders. Can be a bit quite intense straight away. If you're not really feeling it, if you're very open in your chest, you might want to start bending your elbows out towards the sides of the mat, and now you might feel it. I always think this looks like quite a funny position, but it's quite a nice one. Lovely, and then you can just start to walk your hands up a little bit closer to your bum, and then shift back into a bit more of a comfortable position. And now we're going to try the reverse tabletop. So lifting the hips. Lovely. Pressure through your hands and through your feet. grounding down through your knuckles in your hands. And if you like, if you want to, you can drop your head back, be gentle with yourself if you like, or you can just keep your chin tucked in. It just depends on what you like in your body. Because squeezing your hips up, finding that stretch throughout your shoulders, throughout your chest. Ooh, and then coming back down. Lovely. All we're going to do is come to tabletop on our hands and knees now. So just, you can move in a fancy way to get there, or you can just, circle your knees behind, your legs behind you. Beautiful. And then finding your version of cat-cows. We all know cat-cow pose now, but if you want to do the traditional cat-cow, you can do dropping your head, your tailbone, and then coming the other way and dropping your belly. Or you can just start to give a little wiggle on the mat here, feeling into your spine, into your body, and just moving a little bit intuitively. I always find it's a little bit easier to close your eyes in this pose as you're doing this. I feel like your body tells you what it wants more when your eyes are closed and you're not worried so much. It's almost like a kid when they play hide and seek and they just hide their eyes and they're like, oh yeah, if I can't see them, they can't see me. This is what I feel like it is like when you close your eyes in yoga. All of a sudden I feel like no one can see you. Lovely. Once you've given yourself a little bit of a wiggle, we're going to slide our right knee forward and coming to pigeon. You might need to help yourself out here with a handle, so give yourself a little wiggle, lengthening the left leg out behind you, untucking the toes of that left leg. And flexing through the front foot, so flexing through your right foot. Your knee is out quite wide and your foot is quite close to your groin, and unless you've got insane flexibility in a pigeon pose and you want to take your shin parallel with the top of your mat, but it's quite a tricky pose, that one. Keep it in nice and close, I say. You can stay here in this lifted pigeon if it feels good for you, or if you prefer to come down onto your forearms, you can do. Maybe even bringing your chest right down, resting your head on your hands, or even down onto the mat. I'm taking a few deep breaths here. Lovely, and then we're going to slowly just come out of this. So if you're down, coming back up, and we're going to bring our back leg around and take it in front of us. So we've got our right knee bent, the foot is quite close into the thigh here, left leg nice and long in front of you. Lovely. Inhale, reach your hands up towards the ceiling, flexing the left foot back towards your face, back left toes back towards your face, and then just giving yourself a little forward fold here over your left leg. Again, just allowing the hands to float down onto the mat. And then just rounding through your back here, really relaxing through the back of your neck. Just holding for another big breath in. And then breath out, walk yourself up, placing your right hand behind you, just behind your hip. We're going to come to a little stretchy yawn, wild thing pose. So we're going to lift our hips, coming up onto the shin of the right leg. Give yourself a nice little stretch out. Yeah, lovely. Another big breath in. And breath out. and then coming to sit back down on your bum, taking that left leg behind you again and coming to find all fours. Lovely. Take a breath in here, find a nice neutral spine, nice long spine all the way from the crown of the head out towards your bum, your tailbone. And then you're just going to bring your left knee forward, finding pigeon. Oh, there was a lot of clicks from me then. Finding pigeon pose with your left knee forward out towards the side of the mat, flexing through the left foot, which is quite close to your groin. You've slid out your right leg behind you. And you can sit up nice and tall in this pigeon pose if you like. Nice proud pigeon. Big breath in, or you can come down onto your forearms, maybe even resting your head onto your hands. Taking a good few inhales and exhales in this pose. Just going to hold for a few more breaths. Breathing into the sensations that you can feel. Relaxing through the muscles you're not using, especially the ones in your face, in your jaw, your forehead, your eyebrows. Taking another big breath in. Big exhale. And then slowly walking your hands up if you'd gone down into your pigeon pose. Lovely. And then bringing that back leg, swinging it around and in front of you. Just lifting your sit bones out from underneath you, flexing through the right foot so toes are back, pointing back towards your face. Lifting the fingers up towards the ceiling, big inhale, finding lots of length through your spine, and then exhale, coming forwards over your right leg, reaching forward with those fingers before you just allow them to float down either side of your leg. Either side of your right foot maybe, and then just relaxing through your spine as you allow yourself to completely fall over this leg. Just keep breathing in this pose. You're just getting to that point where you're like, oh yeah, that kind of feels good. If it feels really horrible, then come out of it and find the bit where you feel like, actually, yeah, that doesn't feel so bad. Don't force yourself into positions that just don't feel nice, because you don't want to fall out of love with exercising in this way. So if it feels good, you're more likely to want to do it, Another big breath in and big breath out. And then slowly walking your hands up, placing your left hand just behind your hip, and then reaching the right hand up, lifting your hips up, giving yourself a nice big yawn, nice big stretch. Another big inhale. And exhale, calming down onto your bum and taking your legs again behind you, coming into all fours. Dropping the belly, gaze up towards the ceiling, inhale. And then exhale, rounding through the spine. Nice little cat back. And then finding neutral spine, tucking the toes, and we're going to sit our bum up and back into downward facing dog. Ooh, we're not going to stay here for very long. So bend your knees, inhale. We're going to step our right foot forward towards the top of the mat. And then just drop the back knee down onto the mat. If you like to tuck your mat up, you can do if you've got quite a hard floor underneath you or a thin mat. Just find a little bit of padding. We want to protect our knees. Lovely. We're going to find dragonfly. So you're going to keep your left hand just on the floor beside your right foot, And then we're going to twist towards the right foot as we inhale and reach the right hands up towards the ceiling. So finding a nice little twist. Yeah, lovely. And then just bring your focus to the hand that's on the floor and your right foot. And you want to imagine sort of equal sort of weight distribution between the hand and the foot. So we're not putting too much pressure into that left hand or too much pressure into the right. It's quite even. And then keep finding this twist as well. Lovely. And then you're going to float the right hand down onto the mat, but you're going to bring it onto the inside of the right foot. So this is going to feel a bit weird because I haven't done this one with you before. It's going to almost be the same sort of feeling you get an extended side angle, and you'll see why in a minute. Because now with your right foot on the floor and your right hand on the floor on the inside of the right foot, you're going to inhale and twist the other way, opening up the left hand. So it's more of an open twist. You'll start to feel this maybe into your left hip flexor a little bit. You might want to step that right foot out towards the side of the mat a little bit more, finding a little bit of space in order to get the balance and the twist. Lovely. And then float that left hand down onto the mat. Gorgeous. You're now going to tuck the back toes. You've got both hands now on the inside, so onto the left side of the right foot, if that makes sense. Tucking the back toes, you're now going to lift that back knee up off the mat. So now we're in a runner's lunge. If you want to untuck, roll the mat back down flat, you can do. Ooh, this is feeling a little bit intense. Got another big breath in here. And then exhale, find downward facing dog. And for sure, one side now is going to feel a little bit more wacky than the other side. You're just going to float your chest forward and come to a plank. Inhale. And then drop your knees down onto the mat and then find chaturanga, high to low plank as you bend your elbows, bringing your belly all the way down onto the mat. And then finding a little mini back bend, whether that's a baby cobra pose, or if you like, you can push all the way up into an upward facing dog, but squeezing through the glutes, pubic bone down towards the mat, finding lots of length through your lower back especially. Drawing your lower ribs forwards, and then as you exhale, we're going to push up and back into a downward facing dog. Big breath in. Big breath out. And then on a next inhale, bend your knees, look toward your hands. We're going to step our left leg forward in between the hands. Lovely. And then float the back knee down onto the mat. Just rolling up the mat or grabbing a blanket or something to pad out the knee if you like. Taking a big breath in this lunge as you just allow yourself to relax into this position. And then on an inhale, really planting the right hand firmly down into the mat as you inhale and reach the left fingertips up towards the sky, so twisting towards this left knee, this left leg. Lovely. Really keep finding that twist. And then again, try to get the equal weight distribution between your front hand and your front foot. You can play around with that if you like. Maybe just see what it feels like to put all your weight into your hand. It can be a bit horrible on your wrist actually, or all your weight into your foot, and then you might lose that twist a little bit. And just find that equal balance. Lovely. And then floating the left hand down onto the mat, bringing it on the inside of the left foot. You might want to toe heel that foot out a little bit towards the side, that left foot out towards the side, towards the left mat. Lovely. And then we're going to find that open twist. So reaching up the right hand, so it feels a little bit like an awkward extended side angle pose. but I actually quite like it as a twist. It's quite unusual. Keep breathing, keep twisting, keep opening your chest up. Another big inhale. And then exhale, float that hand down onto the mat as well. So both hands are on the inside of that left foot. Lovely. And then we're going to tuck the back toes and find runner's lunge with the back knee lifted up off the mat. Big breath in, finding length all the way from the heel, all the way through the back of the leg, all the way out towards the crown of the head. Lovely. And then step back into downward facing dog. Oh, felt like I needed a bit of a helping hand then getting into downward dog. That was a bit of effort. We're going to float our chest forward into plank. And then if you want to do full chaturanga, high to low plank, you can do, or you can still place your knees on the mat if you like, bringing your chest, your belly down onto the mat. And then inhale, finding your baby cobra, upward facing dog, squeeze through your glutes. And then exhale, find downward facing dog. Lovely, big breath in. Big breath out. Lovely, and then you're going to bring your knees down onto the mat, finding again your tabletop position. And you're going to inhale and slide your left toes out behind you. So they're just on the floor behind you, the leg nice and lengthened. And then reaching the right hand up to shoulder height. You're then going to lift the toes up, lift that leg up so the leg is now at hip height. Lovely. And just finding a spot on the floor that maybe you can focus on to keep your balance. We're going to bring the left knee to the right elbow just underneath your body. Squeeze it in, inhale, and then exhale, finding length as you lengthen the leg and arm away from you. Inhale, make it touch knee to elbow, and then find length. And you're going to do this 3 more times. So inhale, knee to elbow, nice and controlled as you do this. And then send it out nice and long. Another 2 more times, nice and slowly, nice and controlled. Gorgeous. With your own breath. Lovely. And then allowing the hand to come back down onto the mat, allowing the left toes to come down, but keeping the leg nice and long behind you. And then just pivot on the shin of your right leg as you inhale and reach the left fingertips up towards the sky. Lovely. So we're coming to more like a side plank variation with the shin down, with the knee down. And then if you like, you lift that left leg up as well to hip height. Give me a breath in here. And then exhale, find your tabletop, your all fours. Gorgeous. We're going to do that on the other side. So slide your right toes away from you as you lift your hand up, your arm up to shoulder height. And then just lift that back leg up to hip height. Beautiful. On an inhale, find your knee to elbow. And then exhale as you stand it out nice and long. Try to avoid the wobble. Inhale, knee to elbow. Exhale, send it out nice and long. 3 more times with your own breath. Lovely, finding control as you do this. Lovely, Catherine. Lovely, Toby hiker. Lovely, Marion. Beautiful, Maeve. Yes, Maria. I'm pretty sure Richard is nailing it as well. I can only see his upper body. So he could be cheating, who knows? And then when you've done this, placing both hands and place your hand back down on the mat, and then your right leg is out behind you. We're just going to pivot on the shin of your left leg, and then coming to a side plank variation, reaching the right hand up lengthening through that right leg and then just lifting it up to hip height if you like to. Lovely. And then finding again your all fours. Tucking the toes, downward facing dog. Big breath in. Big breath out. And then inhale, float your chest forwards to plank, and then high to low plank, your variation of chaturanga. Squeeze your elbows, they graze past your ribs, and then you inhale, find your baby cobra or upward facing dog, squeeze through your glutes, and then exhale, downward facing dog. Lovely. Inhale, bend both knees, look towards your hands, and you're going to step your left leg towards the top of the mat. Finding a lunge, the back knee is off the mat. And then inhale, coming up into a high lunge, reaching the fingertips up towards the sky. Beautiful. And then you're going to hinge forward at the hips as you reach your hands forwards. So we're kind of finding a diagonal line from the fingertips down towards the heel. But then keep reaching, keep reaching, keep reaching, and find your warrior three as you float your back leg up off the mat. And then just bring your hands into namaste, so bring them into heart center or even onto your hips or out behind you. Find the position where it helps you to try and get that balance. Gazing at something on the floor maybe that's not moving, to help you with this. Lovely. And then we're going to come to stand, but keep this right leg lifted. Keep it lifting right up towards your chest. So you're just standing on your left leg. And then you're going to take that leg across and we're going to find eagle. So it's almost like we're crossing our legs because we need a wee. Cross them. And then if you like, you can tuck those toes behind you if you do full eagle. I don't know whether I just don't have the flexibility to do that or my legs are just too short because I just can't see it happening. Finding eagle legs, find a lot of bend in your standing leg as you do this. Finding that point in front of you that's not moving. Marion, that's not Maeve. Don't look at Maeve, she might put you off. And then finding a Tadasana with the right leg lifted again, up towards your chest. But then you're just going to send it straight out behind you, finding the lunge with the left leg in front. Still beautiful. And then inhale the hands up and exhale as you find warrior two. So you're shifting your hips now, they're facing the long side of the mat. Bending through that left leg. Inhale, flip the palm and reach your left arm forwards and then find reverse warrior. Beautiful, keeping the bend in that front leg. Lovely, and then exhale, windmill the hands either side of the front foot and step back to downward facing dog. Big breath in. Big breath out. Lovely, float your chest forwards, coming to your plank. And then high to low plank, your preference with whether you want your knees on the floor. Bend your elbows, they graze past your ribs. Lovely. Inhale, find your mini back bend or your upward facing dog, your preference. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Big bend in your knees, look towards your hands and step your right foot through to the top of the mat, finding a lunge. And then inhale, float the fingers up, the hands up towards the sky in this high lunge. Squeeze through your glutes. Lovely. And then can you just drop down into that front knee a little bit more without dunking into your lower back. So try not to let your hips float forward as you do this. Your hips stay uplifted. Lovely. I say that, but now I'm going to say hinge at your hips and find that diagonal line. And then keep reaching forward with your fingers as you float that back leg up off the mat, finding your warrior three. Lovely. Finding that balance. Allow your hands to come to namaste or to your hips, or even just allow them to float behind you, wherever you find it easier on your balance. Another big breath in. You should feel a bit of strength building in this standing leg, and then coming up into this pose, lifting the knee up towards your chest as you standing on one leg, lovely, and then taking it over that standing leg, finding the eagle pose on this side, sitting in into this pose, bending through that standing leg as if we're in chair pose, but with this leg crossed on top. Beautiful. And then inhale, unravel yourself, bringing the knee back up to your chest, and then sending back into your high lunge. Inhale, the hands up towards the sky as you open up into warrior two. So right leg forward in this warrior, bending through that right leg, that right knee. Lovely, squeezing through your glutes. And then inhale, flip the palm, reach your right hand forward, and then find reverse warrior. Lovely, feeling that beautiful stretch. And then as you exhale, windmill both hands either side of the front foot and find your downward facing dog. Big breath in. Big breath out. Another big breath in. And a big breath out. And then float your chest forward, find your plank. Inhale and exhale, high to low plank. Inhale, either upward facing dog or baby cobra. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Big breath in. Big breath out, and bend your knees, bring your shins onto the mat, toes together, knees as wide apart as you like, and just sit your bum back onto your heels, bringing your forehead down onto the mat. Taking a few big breaths in child's pose. Allowing the breath to just move up and down your spine. As again, you relax anything you don't need. Beautiful. On your next inhale, coming up to all fours, tucking the toes and sending your bum up and back to downward facing dog. On an inhale, you're going to reach your left toes up towards the ceiling, coming to three-legged downward facing dog. Big inhale. Big exhale. Another big inhale as you really reach these toes away from you. Lovely. And then as you exhale, bring your knee towards your nose as if you're coming through to a plank position, but just instead finding that rounding through the spine as you bring your knee to the nose. Lovely. As you inhale, send that leg back into three-legged downward facing dog. And then bring your knee to nose. And then send that leg back into three-legged downward facing dog. Beautiful. This time, bring that knee right in and step the foot in between the hands. Yeah, amazing. Help it through with a hand if you need to. We're going to come up straight away into a high lunge. Lovely. Open up into warrior two. Exhale. And then finding length through both legs as we're going to find a wide leg forward fold. So just pivot on the heel. So now the toes of both feet are either pointing towards the long side of the mat, or they can pigeon toe in if you prefer to do that. But just inhale the fingers, the hands up towards the sky, and then exhale as you hinge forwards at your hips, coming low in your down and your forward fold. Lovely. Your hands might come down onto the mat. They might not. It's all good. Just imagine the crown of your head drawing towards the ground. And if it's getting a little bit too much, remember you can always bend your knees a little bit here to release any tension that you're feeling in the back of your legs. Taking a big breath in. Big breath out. Really relaxing through the back of the neck. And then slowly rolling all the way up. Find your warrior two once more on this side. So you're bending through your left leg. Lovely. And then windmill the hands either side of that front leg. Step back to your downward facing dog. Inhale, float your chest forwards into high plank. And then bend your knees as you bring your chest down into chaturanga, into low plank. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. This time you're going to inhale and reach the right toes up towards the ceiling, coming to a three-legged downward facing dog. Yeah, beautiful, Maria. Lovely, Claire. Big breath in. And then as you exhale, bring knee to nose. Make it touch. Really round through the spine to make that happen. And then send that leg up behind you. Send it back before bringing it through again. Knee to nose. And then inhale, send it back up. And this time, as you bring it through, you're going to step the foot through into a lunge. Step it through in between the hands. Help it through with a hand if you need to. Lovely. Inhale, reach the fingers up, coming to a high lunge. And then exhale, open up into your warrior two. The right leg bent. Beautiful. Inhale, lengthen through that leg, pivot on the heel, so now toes are pointing towards the long side of the mat. And then exhale, float forward into a wide leg forward fold, finding lots of length through the back of your legs, as well as through your spine, really relaxing through the back of your neck. Maybe give your head a shake, yes and no, just releasing any tension. And then keeping the position here, but maybe just allow the weight to hinge forwards into the balls of your feet and just see if this makes a difference to the stretch. And bring it back into the heels and send it forward again into the balls of the feet. Ooh, for me, it really does change that stretch. Lovely. You're going to bend both knees and start to roll all the way up. Finding your warrior two. The right leg forward. And then exhale, float both hands down onto the mat. Step back to your downward facing dog. Big breath in. Big breath out. Bend both knees, look towards your hands and make your way to the top of your mat. We're in a forward fold here at the top of the mat, and we're going to slowly start to rise all the way up, coming to our, can you believe it, our first Tadasana of the day. Inhale, reach the fingers up towards the ceiling. And then exhale again, fold over your legs. Your feet can be together or hip distance apart in this next little flow, just your preference really. Inhale, find your halfway lift. So draw your fingers up your shins, squeeze your shoulder blades together. You're trying to find a nice lengthened spine all the way from the crown of your head out towards your tailbone. Lovely. Exhale, forward fold. And then you're going to inhale, find your plank position. Big breath in. And then exhale, find chaturanga. Inhale, your little cobra back bend. And then exhale as you find downward facing dog. Big breath in. Big breath out. Bend your knees, look towards your hands and step through to the top of the mat. Find a halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, coming all the way up into your Tadasana, into your extended Tadasana as your fingertips reach up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, draw your fingers up your shins, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Exhale, forward fold and step back to plank. Hold for a breath in. And then exhale, calming down, chaturanga. Inhale, baby cobra or upward facing dog. And then exhale, forward fold. Downward facing dog. Inhale, look towards your hands and make your way to the top of the mat. Inhale for your halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Extended Tadasana, rolling all the way up. Should feel a little bit warmer now. And then exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift on your inhale, starting to feel a little bit of a dance. And then inhale as you step back to your downward facing dog, your plank, apologies, stepping back to plank. And then exhale, find your chaturanga. Inhale, your back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, look towards your hands, bend your knees, step forward to a forward fold. Exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Rolling all the way up, reaching the fingers up towards the ceiling. We've got one more. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back to plank, hold for a breath in. Exhale, chaturanga, high to low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog, baby cobra, beautiful. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, bend your knees, look towards your hands and make your way to the top of your mat. Exhale in your forward fold. Halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, forward fold. And then rolling all the way up. Stacking one vertebrae at a time before inhaling, reaching your hands up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, allow your hands to just float down beside you, keeping lots of length through your spine, standing up nice and tall. And then closing through the eyes, we're going to finish the practice with 3 breaths all together. So making sure everything's exhaled from your lungs first. Taking a big breath in through your nose. Breath out through your nose. Big breath in. Breath out. And this time floating your hands up towards the ceiling. Breath in. Bring your hands to touch and bring them down to heart center. Breath out. Amazing, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for the first yoga with Dance Floor Activist of 2021. Ooh. Hope everyone's feeling good.